My Royal Masterminds, Lady Colin Campbell and Phil Dampier, discuss Princess Diana's legacy 26 years on from her death shortly, but first the clash. And the left's racism problem reared its ugly head again yesterday as Labour's race baiter in chief Dawn Butler launched this disgusting attack on Home Secretary Suella Braverman.
I think they're kidding themselves and are extremely delusional in thinking that they will be seen differently when push comes to shove.
Yeah.
They get promoted because of the things that they're saying. So you couldn't really have a white Home Secretary saying the sort of things that Suella's saying and get away with it that easily, I don't think.
So why is the left so determined to see everything through the prism of race? Conservative politicians' skin colour should have absolutely nothing to do with their views, and I think it's high time this kind of bigotry was called out. But what do you think? Has the left's obsession with race made them racist themselves? Down at GBNews.com. Vote in our poll at GBNews on Twitter. But to debate this now, I'm joined by GB News darling Nana Acquare and the social commentator Joanna Jarjue. So, Nana, this just felt very racist to me from Dawn Butler, suggesting that Suella Braverman has only been hired because of the colour of her skin. What did you make of it?
Well, I mean, it's standard practice from the likes of Dawn Butler. It's actually a complete insult. Suella Braverman is a barrister. She's worked hard and she got the job by sheer determination and hard work. I find this sort of rhetoric typical of a lot from the left who are not expecting anyone like me because in their eyes, somebody who is dark-skinned should not have such conservative views. And if you are, then you're stepping out of your lane. And as you stepped out of your lane, the only reason she's in the position is because someone like her could never say the things that she is saying. Someone like her can only say the things that she is saying. Sorry, pardon me. But for Dawn Butler to say that she actually got away with saying anything is absolute nonsense, actually. When Suella Braverman rightly identified the invasion on our shores, she didn't get away with it. People jumped on her case and immediately were telling her that, she was being racist. When she rightly identified the Pakistani grooming gangs, because they were mostly Pakistani men grooming young white girls, and that is what Suella was pointing to, she was called racist. And I mean, if she's really going down that track, then what about Rishi Sunak? I mean, he's Asian. What does she have in store for him? It is absolute nonsense, and it detracts from the ability of an individual who's doing a very difficult job, and it's just not helpful.
But Joanna Jarjue, you say it is convenient for the government to have a brown person as a mouthpiece to say things that are a little bit risky about other brown people because they can't be called racist.
Yes, I do. And I think that it's not, I think what Dawn Butler was getting at was that it's not that that's the sole reason that Suella Braverman was given this position, but it was definitely an added benefit that it kind of softens the blow a little bit. You know, if it's a brown or black person saying things about other brown or black people, it does soften the blow. It's very convenient, and it just makes the Conservative government's life a bit harder. Yes, I do agree with Nana that, Suella Braverman did get some flack for saying, invasion and saying stuff about migrants, but she would have got a lot more. But she would have got a lot more, grief from people and from the British public had she been a white person.
Well,
it's
I say exactly what Suella says. I describe it as an invasion of our southern border.
Yes, but also, Dan, you're not a politician. She's
but are you saying that that's racist?
No, what I'm saying is that she's held to a higher standard to begin with because she's a politician, so she's expected to speak in a certain way and speak certain language. It's completely different from when me and you have a conversation. There are things that maybe people tweet you and think that, if you make those comments that it is racist, but it's completely different.
Nana, I actually find this approach from the left in this country despicable. I get it all the time, Nana. As a gay man who doesn't believe in the LGBTQI, whatever it is, that ridiculous agenda. I don't believe in that. So they come for me. They say that I can't be a real gay man, and I presume you must get it too.
That's exactly the key, Dan. The fact that you have those views.
Joanna, it's my turn.
We'll come back to you, Joanna.
Sorry, but it is my turn. I did listen to you, but I get it all the time because I'm
Fair
not
enough.
saying the things that somebody who is of colour should be saying, but because I say them, then I can apparently say them and get away with it. I'm not getting away with it. I'm saying what I think.
Yeah.
So the fact
And
that I
you
happen
have
to
every
be
right
black,
to say it, whatever colour you are.
I mean what I'm saying. It's not about me getting away with it. It's me
Hannah,
coming out of the
you-
lane that I'm supposed to be in. Sorry, I will get to the end of this. This is on a par for me with Joe Biden saying you ain't black unless you vote Democrat. So, I think it's time for black politicians to acknowledge, in particular the likes of Dawn Butler, that we are not one homogenous group who think all the same thing and must say the same thing. It's time to move away from talking about the colour of people's skin and listen to what they're actually saying. And what Suella Braverman is saying is on point and what the British public have voted for.
Joanna?
Look, Nana, I completely agree with you that black people are not monolith. You don't have to be left wing for me to see you as a legitimate other black person. That's fine. But you've also got to admit that your opinion as a black woman is an outlier in the sense that you don't get many people who look like me and you who do have conservative views like you. And even if they are conservative in their numbers, they're probably not as right wing outwardly and as vocally as you. So when you've got somebody like you, let's say for argument's sake, Nana, if you were a conservative MP and you were in high office, if you were willing to say quite extreme stuff, that is a really big benefit, because then if anything happens, and let's say, for example, a white politician also agrees with you as a black politician that's very conservative and right wing, they can always turn to you and convene.
Well, I'll give Nana the final word. But there's one thing that I have to say, Joanna, very clearly. Nothing that Suella Braverman says, nothing that Nana Acquair says is extreme. This is what the left try to say. What Nana Acquair and what Suella Braverman say is actually the majority view in this country. The vast majority of people agree with them. But final word to you, Nana.
I just want to add in that just because only one person who you see of colour may be saying that, there is a large silent majority who absolutely 100% agree with me and are of the same colour. But I have to keep stressing to Dawn Butler and the likes, they want to move away from racism, yet they are the perpetrators of it. And it really needs to stop.
Yeah, it does. It does need to stop. Joanna Jarjue, Nana Acquair, brilliant debate. Really appreciate it. Thank you both. But who do you agree with? Has the left's obsession with race made them racist themselves? Damon via Twitter writes, in the eyes of the left, racism against white people is not possible, yet I have seen several worrying examples of racism from the left in recent years, none of which is ever called out by the MSM. Sarah writes, there is a peculiar type of racism from some people on the left whereby they think somebody like Braverman has no right to limit migration because she comes from a family of immigrants. They also prefer non-white people to be the victims rather than empowered. And Pip says the left cannot see the irony of their actions. They claim to be against racism, yet they peddle views which are totally racist themselves. And your verdict is now, and well, 92% of you with Nana on this. You say the left's obsession with race has made them racist themselves. 8% of you with Joanna Jarjue and Dawn Butler.